Hi, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of HSP TV. Today is already the 40th episode. Oh, how time flies. It's like yesterday that I started doing these things, and I've had so many lovely responses of people who tell me how valuable it is that I discuss all these topics and that I answer their questions, and how happy they are that I am here and that I'm doing this. So thank you everybody for letting me know this. This helps me keep going, and this is what I'm doing it for. So thank you for all your praise and your loving words that you shared with me about these episodes. If you're live in this broadcast, I would love to connect with you. So if you are live, just wave at me or type in your name, where you're from. Then I'll give you a shout out in the episode. Hi, Thomas. Nice of you to join, like Thomas just did. And if you are watching this later in the replay, then type in hashtag replay in the comment section, because I would also love to see how many of you watch these episodes in the replay, because not everybody is able to be here live. Oh, frog in my throat. Sorry, I need to take a drink. So, episode 40, what is it about? Well, it's about something that I see a lot in my practice, and that is that we highly sensitive people often think to ourselves, this is not special, this thing that I'm doing. Everybody can do this. Everybody thinks this. Doesn't everybody do this? Isn't everybody able to do this, or versions thereof? Hi, de zelfbeeldpsycholoog. Nice of you to join. I needed to squint at the screen because I couldn't read your name, but nice of you to join. So that's what I want to talk to you about. Doesn't everybody have that? Because no, that's the answer to that question. No, not everybody has this. I'll give you a couple of examples. I think you probably know that about 20% of the population is highly sensitive, and that means that 80% of the population is not. In practice, that means that 4 out of 5 people that you meet are not like you, don't think like you, don't act like you, and no, they don't have this thing that you think about. Does everybody have this? No, they don't. An example would be our ability to quickly think through problems. So if you're working somewhere and there's a problem and somebody comes with a solution to that problem. Hi, Cindy, nice of you to join. We sensitive people, we are able to quickly see, okay, so if we do this, then we do that and that and that, and that. Oh, this is not going to work. And this is something that we can do because we can see connections very fast between things, and we can shift very fast in our thinking, and we can think 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. And that is why we can see very quickly if a solution is going to work or not. But the 80%, so the 4 out of the 5 people that are not highly sensitive, no, they are not able to do this. But for us, it is such a normal thing that we don't even think about it. And this is just one example, but there are many examples like this. Things that we do that we think are normal, because for us, they are normal. We don't even think about it. We don't see it as special. But it is special, and one of these things is this ability to quickly see the connections and think through 5, 6, 7 steps ahead, and then realize if something's going to work, yes or no. But what happens when we voice this is that our coworkers think that we are negative, that we always have comments on something, that we are not open to these solutions, and they see us as a downer or a negative person, and that hurts our feelings. And this is not meant to hurt our feelings, and this happens because they are not able to do what we do. So how can you handle that differently? Is also a question that I got, and this is also a very good question. So if we stick to this example, the way to do it differently is to take people along by the hand through your thought process. So if they propose a certain solution and then you think, okay, but if this is the solution, then this happens. So you ask them, okay, but if we do this here, what happens there? And then you let them come up with the answer, and they think, okay, then that happens there. Yes, indeed. And if that happens there, then what happens here? And again, you need to let them come up with the answer, and they think and think and they think, okay, I think then this happens here. And you tell them, yes, you're correct. That happens there. And if that happens there, then what will be the end result here? And again, let them think about it. And then they will come to their own conclusion. Oh shit, it's not going to work. And instead of being the negative know-it-all that is never supportive and always has criticisms, you are their hero because you allowed them to go through the same thought process that happens for you almost instantly, and for them to discover that it's going to work or not going to work by themselves. And then they are happy with what you're saying. So basically you're saying the same things, but instead of telling them, you take them along the journey of self-discovery, self-discovering that it's not going to work. And this helps them reach the conclusion themselves and view the conclusion very differently than when you just tell them and they haven't had that thought process. So they aren't there at the end conclusion that you arrived already. And this is an example of how to handle problems. But another thing is our big ability for empathy, the way we can imagine how it must be like for other people. And where this comes in handy very clearly is when you are having a discussion. So you're having a discussion with, let's say, 5, 6 different people, and they all have a different opinion. And you also have your own opinion, but you are able to understand the opinions of everybody else. You are able to understand their arguments for their opinion. You don't agree with their opinion because your opinion is different, but you can understand where they are coming from. You can understand why their opinion is their opinion. And again, we usually think, yeah, but everybody can do this. If you just think a little, it's obvious for everybody. And again, that's not the case. This is only possible for the highly sensitive people because we have this great ability for empathy. So we are able to read body language. We are able to hear the things that are not being said, and we are able to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. And that this allows us to understand where they are coming from, why their reasons are their reasons. Hi Sylvia, nice of you to join. And again, this is only possible for the highly sensitive people, which are 20% of the population. So 4 out of 5 people are not able to do this. And especially when you're a moderator, this can be really handy, but it's also a really handy trait for our need for peacekeeping, because that is also something that is important for us highly sensitive people. We don't like conflict. We don't like arguing. We don't like war or people hashing it out. So if you are able to understand where everybody is coming from, and you can hear the things that are not being said, and then you use your intuition gift to find the words you need to say to be able to connect with the people in that part of their process, then you can direct this argument into the right lanes. And this is also something that I think is one of our greatest strengths, but it's also something that nobody except other highly sensitive people are able to do. So doesn't everybody have that? No, this is not something that everybody has. And the same goes for our deep and widespread intuition, the way we can intuitively feel what is right for us, at least when we have learned to trust in our intuition and when we are open to it. Yes, this is something that every highly sensitive people can do. person can do, but not everybody does it or knows how to do it, and not everybody is open to their intuition, and that's why sometimes it might not come out the way we want to, or not come out at all. But this can be learned. So if this is an issue for you, type in the number 1 in the comment section, then I will send you something free to help you overcome this problem with your intuition. The same goes for your empathy. If you have blocked that part off, if you are not able to connect with other people's emotions, even though you are a highly sensitive person, this can happen when you needed to protect yourself and you needed to close off that part of you in order to survive, in order to live. I know, I've been there, I've done that. So again, if this is a problem for you, then type in the number 2 for empathy, or the word empathy or intuition for the first one, and I will send you also something for that free of charge, because I want to help you. So doesn't everybody have that? No. Every time you think this, every time you do something and you think, oh, but this is normal, everybody does this, then you can safely assume that no, this is not normal for the 80%. Yes, it's normal for the 20%, but no, it's not normal for the 80% that is not highly sensitive. And no, the 80% that is not highly sensitive doesn't have that, isn't able to do that, and doesn't see that. I had the same problem with my boyfriend, actually, and this is another example, maybe you can relate to this one. I thought it was normal that when you work at home like he did, and you have had lunch or breakfast or whatever snack meal you did, that the moment you return to the kitchen to get yourself another cup of coffee, and the coffee machine is above the dishwasher, that you take your plates and your cups and everything that you used and take it with you when you go to the kitchen to place it inside of the dishwasher while you make your cup of coffee in the machine that's above it. To me, that is normal. To me, that is logical. To him, it was not. So what happened is I got home and I could see everything that he ate and every place that he ate it in, and he left everything out. He didn't take anything with him to the kitchen, even though he drank 3 liters of coffee every day. So he made lots of trips to that coffee machine above the dishwasher. And because we measure other people by our own standards, by what we think is normal, what we feel is normal, and what we would do for other people, we think that other people do the same, act the same, have the same, think the same. But again, for most people, it doesn't work that way. It only works that way for other highly sensitive people. But it's only 1 out of 5 people you meet that is also a highly sensitive person. So it's safe to say that the most people that you meet, most people that you know, don't have that, cannot do that, don't think that way, and it doesn't work that way for them. And this helps you to be less disappointed in life if you realized it. Because if I continue with the example of my boyfriend and the coffee in the dishwasher, I without saying it to him, I sort of expected him to just do this because I would do it. And well, yeah, I expected him to do it as well. And when he didn't, I became disappointed. I thought it's such a small effort to do things like this, and why can't you see it? And every time I had to tell him to do it, I felt like a nag, or worse, like his mom or something. And it's a horrible feeling. And it's because I assumed that it would work the same for him as it did for me, without actually checking if that was true, or without actually communicating that that was what I expected of him. Because I would do it out of my own volition, and I sort of expected him to do it out of his own volition as well. So realizing that you are unique, and that you are highly sensitive, and that for 80% of the world's population, things don't work that way and aren't as matter of fact as they are for you, it helps you to become less disappointed in people and in everyday situations. And this helps you to manage your energy better. Hi, Charbel Soli. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Nice of you to join. That was what I wanted to discuss with you today, because I think this is an important thing to realize, because if we are disappointed less, then we get to enjoy ourselves more. And if we are disappointed less in people, then we can most of the time get along with them better than when we constantly are disappointed by the same person. Because I don't know how it is for you, but if I get disappointed by someone over and over again, then I end up not wanting to have any contact with that person anymore. And realizing that I set myself up for that disappointment made a really big change in how I connect with people, how I talk with people, and especially how I manage my expectations around people. So I hope that this was valuable to you, and I hope you learned something today. Remember, if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about, or if you have a question that you would like me to answer, you can email me at info@tobeimbalance.com, and who knows, your topic or your question might be next week's episode. And of course, I will love it if you could join me live in next week's episode and come and ask your questions live. HSP TV is every Thursday around 5:30 p.m. Amsterdam time. So I hope to see you all again next week for next week's episode. And for now, I wish you a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, depending on your time zone, and a fabulous weekend this weekend. See you soon. Bye.